Should be live here. Okay, so we should be live. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tia's Digital Tea Time. I'm so happy tonight to be here with author Stella Shelton. I am a mess, like always. I'm always running behind, at least 3 minutes behind, as you can see from the time. Welcome, Stella. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. We should be broadcasting across different channels.
Okay.
I will get my phone up and see what channels we're currently on because I'm not even sure.
Okay. Will we be able to see if they're chatting in or?
Yes. So if you look on the side, there should be comments. Live viewer comments will show up. Now, viewers who might want to comment, please state your name on the comments because I don't always, it doesn't always show us. This is Facebook's way of protecting your privacy. So they don't always show us, who's talking. Sorry, I'm putting on the fan here. I'm hot. So welcome to our tea party. We got 3 viewers right now. People are joining in.
Yeah.
So
I hope they all have their teacups. I've got my little flower teacup here.
I ended up with a Rick and Morty.
Oh, I like that.
Any Rick and Morty fans? If you're a Rick and Morty fan, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to see here what I got in there. Yeah, it's I'm sorry everybody, I'm a little literally just a couple minutes behind. Now there might be people, if I can't see your comments, guys, just like I said, do your name. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a separate chat so I can see what's happening in comments. Let me know where you guys are all at on Facebook. I have this streaming to about 6 different channels. I have this streaming to my profile. I have this streaming to Tia's Digital Tea Time. I have this streaming. Stella, what do you call yours again? Stella.
Hello,
Stella. Hello, Stella. I got this Tamed and Claimed is also streaming too. I have it on a YouTube, and I also have it streaming to not TikTok, Twitter. So now, guys, bear with me because I wanted to look nice for you all tonight, but I couldn't. I accidentally set it up wrong, so I lost crucial minutes. Trying to get everything ready. So here I am trying to hurry with my teapot of loose leaf tea and my Rick and Morty mug. So you said yours is a flower?
Yeah, I mean, it goes along with the theme, I think.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Yeah. Actually, mine does too because, space cartoon.
Pollenverse. I think we did something here.
Right. So T and Tiara, I should have put that. Actually, it says interview with Author Stella Shelton. I should put T and Tiaras or tiaras and T. So we're here tonight to talk a little bit about your releases. So can you tell us a little bit? Who are you?
Well, I'm Stella Shelton, and I am an age play sci-fi romance author. I'm known for my Alien Daddy series. There's 6 books in that series. And then I wrote an Office Daddy series, which is more contemporary romance. But I think my heart is in sci-fi. So I'm going back to sci-fi because that's what my readers like. They like the alien stuff.
So I'm sorry, guys, if you hear a lot of me moving around. This is me trying to adjust the lighting. I usually do this ahead of time. So you said sci-fi is where your heart is, where your readers are at.
Mm-hmm.
And so what made you embark on this journey? Were you always a writer? What happened?
Well, so I started off under a different pen name writing. The first novel I ever wrote was a fantasy romance. And I just basically wrote it to see if I could write a book. Like I'd always wanted to, but I just never did. I've never finished a novel. I would start to write a novel and never would finish it. So I set out to finish the novel, and it didn't really sell or anything, but it kind of sent me on a journey of, self-publishing and, what it takes and how to market yourself and everything. So I hop genres into DDLG. I kind of stumbled into the lifestyle accidentally, I guess you could say, and I went with it. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we do have chats coming in. Love the crowns. Hi, ladies. Hi, Michael. Thank you for being here. I don't know. Facebook user coming in from Tia's Digital Tea Time. Thank you so much. I don't know who you are, so feel free to drop your name and I will mention it. I'll tell you why, because like I said, this is actually Facebook protecting your privacy. So unless you give StreamYard permission to show your profile name, I won't see it. So, for example, hi, Facebook user. I don't know who you are. Tell me, who are you? Who's in here besides Michael? Let us know. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. DDLG. Do you want to describe what that is?
Sure. So it stands for Daddy Dom Little Girl. I don't know, like, I feel put on the spot, like, it's hard to explain now that I'm on the spot, but, it's Daddy Dom Little Girl. So, it's a dominant submissive type dynamic, but it's where it's more involved with, like, some age regression, just depending on the little. And it's a dynamic about, I think it's a very sweet dynamic. For me, it's so much about like love and caregiving and safety and what a daddy can provide. Um, and usually a little could be like any age that they identify with. So, one little might be like, I identify more with a 5-year-old. And so I want to use a 5-year-old set of behaviors when I'm in little space. And little space it's a safe place where the submissive can be, where she doesn't really, he or she could be a male or a female, can kind of experience that safety of childhood. They can experience that space of childhood. And it's really not sexual. So that aspect of the dynamic is not sexual. And I think that's where people get confused sometimes. They think like, oh, you want to act like you're little and then he's attracted to you because you're acting little. No, 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 no. And I mean, I think, it depends on the dynamic, of course, but that's not what I write. That's not the kind of dynamic that I portray. So for the purposes of my books or like the lifestyle that I'm portraying, it's like little space is non-sexual. It is a safe place for the submissive to be, where they can kind of feel that sense of security that you would feel maybe as a 5-year-old. And so then you think, well, what sort of things would you want to do? You might want to color. You might want to wear a princess crown. You might want to, and it's a spectrum, right? So there are people who want to be very little, like babies. And then there are other people where they're like, well, I don't know, maybe I'm like 11. I like sticker books, but I'm not like, need to be 5 or anything. So it just kind of depends. And I think there could definitely be times where it's like, I'm feeling 11 and tomorrow I'm feeling 5, it's up to you.
Hi, Prince. Welcome to our thing. So, all right. So, for those of you just coming on now, she was describing DDLG, which stands for Daddy Dom Little Girl. Sometimes you'll see, others like DDLB, which could be Daddy Dom Little Boy. I mean, it's not. It doesn't have to be little girl in this case. Right. For Stella, that's what she writes. So we were talking a little bit about that dynamic and what that might entail. And, some of it surrounds a type of age regression, and also just kind of, I think, being able to capture a vulnerability that a lot of us haven't had since we were children. Exactly. Or, so for example, if you remember a time when you were like, I'm so tired of, this stress of work and stuff. Right. I just wish I could sit and color in my book. Right. And be left alone. And, and that someone would not judge me for this. Hence, exactly. Your daddy dominant will come in and be like, you know what? I'm going to support this space you are in, or this, they term it little space. You want to color
Yes.
a book. You want me to bring you a juice box so that all you had to worry about was coloring books and drinking your juice box, and pretend that you're no longer having to stress about adult things. I support you in that, and we
Exactly. Yeah,
will be in that
exactly.
space.
And, in a way, the daddy can kind of facilitate that space sometimes. He can be like, Princess, what do you need? Do you need a coloring book? I'm going to get you a coloring book. Do you need, so sometimes the daddy is facilitating that space to make her feel safe, because the world is so big. And, this might be a controversial thing to say, but I feel like everyone has a little bit of little inside of them because we all have that inner child, right?
Yeah.
And we have to nurture that inner child so that we can heal and better handle our adult issues and our adult emotions and, our adult responsibilities. And, that safe place really exists so that you can kind of get a break from that, kind of get that security that you don't necessarily feel as an adult.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know?
Now, I know also that, I feel like it's as diverse as the person who's participating in the lifestyle.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There are people who didn't have a good childhood.
Mhm.
They had a terrible childhood, an abusive one. They didn't get to do things like just watch cartoons or, color in color books or whatever. And that sometimes they want to spend their time, their private time, doing these things that they didn't get to do, and they don't want to be judged for it, because there is kind of this stigma attached to this lifestyle that, well, wait, you're 40 years old, if you're dressing up in little dresses and wanting to color books, there's something wrong with you. And I think it's really a terrible thing to discriminate against,
Oh, yeah, sure.
because it's not harming anybody. If I want to go home and I want to put on my crown and I want to color in my coloring book and watch cartoons, and I watch cartoons every night. I actually watch Rick and Morty every night. That is my business, and I shouldn't be judged for wanting to do
Exactly.
those things.
Yeah.
And, if you have a dominant who is willing to, like you say, facilitate or encourage that vulnerability and safety, where it's like, you know what, I love you and I want you to come home and feel like you are safe and loved for how you are. Please do. Now, you got a question coming in from comments. When you write, how do you come up with your storylines?
Oh,
Hi,
well,
Jack.
I mean, I do pull from real life experiences. I mean, good luck guessing what part is real and not from my life, but when you read those books. But I don't outline my books. I don't sit and write an outline. I have a general idea. I sit down and write it, and sometimes it takes its own direction. And I know that I think a lot of authors say that, but that's just, I don't know. It just comes to me as I'm writing it. And I just go with it. I go where the characters take me.
Yeah. I
So,
love that. You're a pantser then. Um, you know, I don't write DDLG. I do write daddy doms though. So any of you have read like The Wealthy Pimp Who Makes Me Rich, who made me rich, all that, you'll see my dominance in there. And I enjoy this aspect of dominant submission. It's something I'm very familiar with, something that applies to my own real life. And, I think that we had talked earlier, me and Stella, about, why we have this term daddy attached to this dominant. Why isn't he master? Why isn't he sir? Why daddy and not one of the other honorifics that you often find in this lifestyle?
mhm.
And I think it's because of the focus on the caregiver aspect
Yeah.
of this dominance. A lot of
Mhm.
people might focus on the sexual aspect or the submission aspect. So, they're like, well, master and slave. So, or sir and submissive, or, or whatever that.
Yeah.
sub wants to be called, and then you have like your daddy Dom. And I think it's amazing because, you know, we have it culturally speaking. We talked about this earlier. As a Hispanic, it's not uncommon for women to look at their significant others and call them poppy or
Right.
daddy and stuff. And, you know, I had this conversation once with someone, and you know, it's because of the role of the caregiver role that is often
Mhm.
associated not only with fatherhood, but like priests are called father. You might see other titles of father in society, and the reason they have it is because they're known for their, like, priests, spiritual caregivers. You
Right.
know, and somebody is asking, how are you inspired to write?
Um, well, like I said, I kind of do take things from real life experiences and then I just kind of like go with it. So, I guess I could give an example. My most recent book was, what did I call it? I just really Dr. Daddy's Garden Hoe.
Garden hoe, yes. So
So,
cute.
I do have migraines. And it was supposed to be about me, like a first person account of me. And so, you know, I thought it would be fun to meet a daddy who like has psychedelic medicinal plants and would make me better that way. I mean, what could be better than that?
Right.
A daddy dom with medicinal plants and he can cure your headaches. And so, you know, so like I took that tiny piece, right? The migraine, and I just went with it. So, you know, I'm constantly inspired to write, and I don't know about you, Tia, but it's like I can start on one project and I'm like, oh, well, I got to do this. So I'm just going to write down 2 paragraphs and I'll get back to it later. And then it turns into this whole other thing.
All right. So for those of you who might be like, what is she talking about? You know, Dr. Daddy's Garden Hoe, cute title. Stella has entered the Pollenverse world, or Pollenverse verse, I mean. Those of you who know, the first book in the Pollenverse is Pollinators, which was me, Selena Michaels, Whitey Lamar, and Danny Carr. And this is now the second book to be released in the Pollenverse, and we're so excited to have a new planet and a DDLG planet. And
Yes.
for those of you who do write DDLG, you authors out there, Stella was kind enough to open her world for those of you who write, and she does know a little bit, right? The, like, if someone wants to write, they just contact you and say,
Yeah,
hey, can I?
if you do, it's actually like a lifestyle garden. So there's everything. So there's littles, there's daddies, masters, like just whatever. And
Oh, okay, and there we
if
go.
you wanted to say like I want a pumpkin patch and I want the pumpkin patch to be you know, littles. I want littles to grow out of the pumpkin. Okay, then create a pumpkin patch. Like, you know, just talk to me first because
That
there's one particular garden that I'm not letting anybody write in right now.
okay.
So, but there's different gardens within the anyway, just, you know, just
Reach
contact
out.
her. Yeah.
Reach out to Stella if you're a DDLG and you don't want to and make your own planet. Now,
Yeah.
anybody writing in the Pollenverse is most welcome to make their own planets. But in the event you know, you're like, you know, I read Stella's book and I want to write on this world. Her world is so amazing. I love everything about it. I want to write on it. Contact her and see what you guys can come up with.
Yeah.
If not, welcome to write on Garden of Delights as well. So yeah.
Someone said, do you ever dream about what to write in your books? Yes. I have extremely vivid dreams. I have for a very long time. Some of them are very dark and disturbing. And I do think that contributes to me being a writer because there's a lot going on up in here. So yes, the first novel I wrote was actually based on a dream. I mean, it didn't sell, but but yes.
Well, I hate that it didn't sell. Sorry, I was tagging Danny Carson.
Well, I mean,
She's
it
making
was
in here.
just a weird book that didn't fit into any genre, and it was hard to describe what it, you know, because it was based on a dream I had. So I didn't really know anything about publishing or marketing or anything. I was just like a person off the street going, "Here's a book," you know, and thought that would do something. So
All right, so I was tagging. Hey, Michael, if you're in there, if you're still in here, Marigold, I know you're in here too. Can someone tag author Selena Michaels for me? Oh, it tagged it. All right. Was I summoned? I already know who this is. There's only one mistress I know who would ask me. Or wait, actually, no, maybe not. Let's look. Let's live chat. Why is it not letting me go? Okay, was I summoned? Yep, it's Selena. There it is. Selena Michaels is on here. What is the title of the book? It is we were talking a little bit about Pollenverse and stuff like that, Selena, and I know that you have a planet coming out as well. Now Selena wrote Daddy Doms in the Pollenverse.
she did.
And you know, it wasn't necessarily a DDLG, but it did kind of have that element of you know, oh, sounds naughty.
Oh, the book
Oh,
that didn't sell. Oh, actually the book that didn't sell is free on Amazon. Like you can get it for free. I mean, I could tell you the name of it, but you wouldn't know how to. It's the Islands of Sedania. It's called Isareth's Curse. But if you look under LC Owen, that is my previous pen name, and that book is free. I mean, if you want to download and read that weird trippy thing I wrote, I mean, have fun with it.
hi, Marigold. Thank you so much. Oh, she loves our crowns. Here's our thing. Selena, if you want to come on, I'm happy to send you a link. We're on StreamYard. Selena writes, I have no recollection of her writing what she wrote inside the first story of Pollenverse. Whatever, Selena. I don't. She said no, I smoked.
Daddy A through X.
I know, like exactly. We're like, I'm too lazy to give these daddies names. We're just gonna A B C D E.
I mean, they
So
don't deserve names unless they're serious, you know? That's what I always say.
I enjoyed like your addition to the Pollenverse. They didn't need names with those peens. Okay, guys, this author Selena Michaels is letting us know. She said they didn't need names. It's true. They probably didn't because we always remember them for. You're right. I wouldn't have remembered their names anyways. I just would have remembered the different scenes, and I
Yeah,
would have been like,
you
"Oh
know,
my god."
my son is 17 and he's very handsome. I mean, not that I'm biased or anything, but I told him, I said, I don't want to know these girls' names unless you're serious. So that's what I said. It's fine. Call him Daddy A through X. Like, clearly they're not that important.
And looking back again at your garden in the Pollenverse, and that I love how you have the very different people coming up through the plants, right? The flowers bloom babies. It's
Yeah.
just
So, I was a 90s kid. I was born in 85. So I love the 80s and 90s. And so it's kind of so like the idea kind of came from like Cabbage Patch Kids. And then, you know, I'm writing in the Rainbow Town Garden and it's Rainbow Brat. Like, so I'm kind of taking elements from my childhood and kind of like sewing it together within my books. Because that's kind of like my little space, right? That's kind of like my little vibe. And like my little stuff isn't going to be like Frozen and, you know, mine's going to be what? Rainbow Bright and Care Bears and Zoobly Zoo and, you know, the stuff I liked when I was a kid, you know? So I'm kind of putting that in there because I like that kind of like mystical, childlike, magical place, you know? But then we want to put in some good spanking and BDSM and hot alien sex. Like I love to just combine the two, you know?
I'm not gonna lie, I never wrote sci-fi until Pollinators was my first sci-fi.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, people love it. And then, I did the Alien Daddy series, so they're just all big blue alien men. And people seem to really like that. You just, if you go to another planet and it's like a different type of humanoid alien thing and he's hot and rippling muscles, that is a yes. People want to read that. I mean, I want to read it.
Me too. I'm pulling in. I'm trying to see if Whitey Lamar's around here. I'm trying to get her to come on here because Whitey Lamar actually has when we were talking about a little bit about the type of aliens we write, whether they're daddies or not daddies, but whether they're more humanoid or more monster.
Right.
I know yours are a little bit more humanoid. So Daddy, Dr. Daddy was kind of humanoid.
Mhm.
And Whitey Lamar, she writes the very monstrous one. So I was trying to get it on her to kind of give us a comparison of that. Now, you said have you always been a writer? Like from young, old? Like, is it something?
Not really. I started to write a book when I was like 10. I was just like, oh, I'm going to write a novel. And my notebook got stolen. And so the kid that stole my notebook threw away my whole and because I wrote it in like my handwriting. And I got so discouraged because I had like a lot of pages written. Like kids my age were not doing stuff like that. And I got discouraged and I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't meant to do that. And so I would start novels and I would write a lot of poetry and stuff, but actually like writing a full-length novel, that didn't happen until I was about 28. So probably about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Thinking.
So why the change? Like, why did you decide, I'm
trying to think when I published my first book, I think it was 2018, but I had written it like several years prior. I just hadn't done anything with it. Well, I mean, I had written children's books. I did a lot of poetry. I was always writing something, but to like sit down and write a novel, I just thought, oh, I can't do that. That's too hard. I don't know why. But that's just how I felt for a long time. I was like, that's too hard. I can't do that. And I just proved myself wrong, I guess. So.
Well, I'm, I love that you did it. Now, what are your future plans for writing?
Well, I mean, as of right now, it's just to keep going, just keep writing, keep putting the books out, making connections with other authors and working on projects together, which I love. I love the collaboration and the community. And I would definitely love to be a full-time author someday, but that, that's in the future for right now. So.
And I hope it comes. I know that DDLG is a very niche group of readers, but very, very dedicated readers.
Yeah.
And, so it's very possible, I think, and I've come to find that I know that some people are a little like, a little kind of, I can't read. It's too close to, it makes me think of uncomfortable things like pedophilia and stuff. And so what do you say when readers are like,
Well, I mean, I always say if there's anything that makes you feel uncomfortable or that, you don't personally like, or if it gives you the ick, then put it down. Don't read it. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. But if people are like, hey, EJ, but if people are like rude about it, like judgmental, I guess that's a little bit different. Or if they're not understanding what it is, that's a little bit different. But if someone were to like say, oh, this makes me uncomfortable, I'd say, put it down, read something else. It's not for you.
Now, you mentioned that because of the stigma attached to the DDLG, genre, that like, for example, you didn't you say you encourage people to donate to a certain charity?
Yes, so I put Sosa on my Instagram, and they have a show on Discovery Plus about like catching um predators, like people who prey on teenage girls. And I mean, especially like these girls that are 13, 14, 15 years old, they're very vulnerable to this sort of predatory, online predatory behavior. And so, I want to be very clear that I am very against any sort of pedophilia or like any sort of underage anything. Um, Human trafficking is such a scary and horrible thing. And a lot of that does come from these online predators to these 14-year-old girls, and they get plucked from their homes and they're out, you know. So it's very important that we protect our children in the online world, and so I think it's very important that the DDLG community especially takes that stance, or makes it known that we take that stance, because it is a misunderstood thing. It is.
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about the stigma that even follows it in the publishing world, because I know that this is a very real problem for a lot of authors of this genre to just even get support or publishing. People report your books get taken down, you lose accounts, you lose sales. What is that like? What is it like for someone to like look at your art and be like, it's wrong and we don't support it?
I mean, this might sound hard to believe, but I just don't really care. Like on it, because I just feel like the people in my life that I know personally, and the people that I'm friends with, and the people that are in my circle understand me, and they don't judge me. And I do get a lot of positive feedback for what I do, I mean, yeah, occasionally, I feel like there's more discrimination from the bigger corporations, like maybe like Amazon, or like, it's more like the platform that you're on that discriminates against you more than the actual people do sometimes. You know what I mean?
So can we talk a little bit about what happened at Draft to Digital, or is that?
I mean, if you want.
So can you tell the readers and the other authors who might be watching what happened to you at Draft to Digital?
So, I mean, Draft to Digital just has some very strict guidelines for what they will and will not publish. And they consider daddy books to be I'm not saying it right. Pseudo incest.
Pseudo incest.
Yeah. And then they say that it's a familial term. So if you're using daddy, that's considered a familial term, and it's like incestuous, basically. And so therefore not allowed. And I get it. They don't want to make Amazon upset. And so they have very strict guidelines. But I had just put in a book like with dummy information. And I put daddy on the title, but I never hit submit because I know they don't allow that. I just was like putting in dummy information. I guess I just wasn't thinking because all my books say daddy or whatever. And it was just, I wasn't even submitting it. It was just testing out the program. And they said, because I put daddy in a title on a book that I never published, that never had a manuscript in it, that never had a description or anything, they said because I had done that, I was banned from publishing on their platform to Amazon.
Wow. And you never even published it. That means they were like monitoring your drafts.
Yeah, there was no manuscript. There was nothing. But it turned out that it wasn't really even worth it to use them anyway. I mean, Amazon is great. They don't discriminate. They've not discriminated against me yet, so far Amazon has been good to me. So.
Well, I just remember hearing that and being so insulted on your behalf, not only because they judge your art, but also the fact that you you didn't even publish it and they still banned you. You didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
And it just, but I know life isn't fair, especially in the publishing world, but I'm just.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I'm over it now. It's fine. I guess it turned out the way it was supposed to. But
Well, for any authors who might watch this later, just remember, do not put daddy in a title if you're using drafted digital, because they
like,
don't
don't
like.
even write it anywhere.
Yeah.
But but I don't know if maybe they just went and looked at my account because they knew, because I was asking about titles like that. So they like had an extra eye on my account. You just don't know. Yeah, but I was like, so I'm banned for something I didn't do, and there was no explanation. So it's like, okay, whatever.
Well, I'm not going to lie, drafted digital and I have not had a good run together either. Not because of that, but for other things. And I'm still upset at them about certain things. I will never use them again either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done with that. So
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that you're doing your art. You don't care what other people say. Why the storyline? Like, people are like, well, why these storylines and stuff? Like, I know you pants it, but what are you looking for when you think to yourself, like, what are your readers looking for? What are they expecting from you? I guess I should ask.
I think they want to see a beautiful relationship unfold. That's what they're looking for. And I think if I can make that happen, then I can get them. Now, my books aren't for everyone. And I mean, honestly, if you go look at my reviews, they're very mixed. And a lot of my reviews are organic. I don't always send a lot of arcs out on my stuff. So, but I just think when it comes to my stories, what my readers are looking for, I mean, they want the dynamic. They want to see the little space, they want the nurturing, sweet daddy that takes care of her. And, they want to see this beautiful relationship unfold. And, maybe the trials and tribulations that you face in any relationship.
Yeah. Well, lifestyles are, just as complicated as non-lifestyle relationships. So obviously, yes. Now, I know that a lot of people will read daddy books even if they're not in the lifestyle. Do you ever get feedback from them?
Well, I mean, sometimes I had a lady go on my newsletter and say it's disgusting or whatever after she downloaded the book. Like, that was the only way she would have been on my newsletters, by downloading the book. And so I guess, so there are people who are curious and pick it up, and then they're like, so some people have a really bad reaction and some people are like, I've never read anything like that before, but it was kind of interesting. I don't know. I kind of want to try that on for size. So, it's a mixed bag,
I find that very bold of a reader to download them and then be like, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I, like you said, I understand that it isn't for everyone, but it's also uncalled for when there is nothing inherently wrong with it. There's no pedophilia. Everybody's adult. Everybody's consenting. Half the time, it's not even sex involved in it,
Right.
and that people are judging you because you want to take your personal time and your privacy of your home, or even out in public, doesn't even matter, but you want to take your time and explore a vulnerability within yourself, and then just to have these people be like, you sick person. And they should be ashamed for doing that. They should feel ashamed. Sorry, guys, if you're on here and you're like, I don't agree, because that is so judgmental.
Yeah.
If I want to wear fluffy pajamas and drink hot chocolate with whipped cream and color books and watch cartoons and have my daddy Dom do daddy dom things like, make me popcorn and take care of me and do all the things that dominants are do, because dominants are caregivers. That
Right.
is the whole point of the power dynamic. It is not them bullying their submissives like
Yeah.
you might read in some books. That is actually a very misrepresentation of BDSM and any kind of lifestyle
Mhm.
that nature and a power dynamic. But it's hard. It's got to be hard to have people judge you and judge your lifestyle and judge even your writing based on something they really have no understanding of. And
Yeah.
I commend you for being like fuck you and keep going and doing it, because um that people are like that, and it just it burns my bushes.
Yeah. I mean, but you're always gonna have naysayers or people who, don't understand it, and, you know,
Yeah.
judgmental. I don't know.
Well, I and it's interesting because we say, as I put on the thing, let's not yuck people's yum, you know what I mean? But even so, I know that there are people who didn't come to watch this tonight because they have a predisposed or pre did I say that right? No, that's not it. That's not the word. Stupid MS. What is it called? They have in their mind already what they think it
Right.
means,
Mhm.
and that they're not even willing to listen and find
Right.
out what that lifestyle
Yeah,
entails.
it's, I mean, it's actually just so sweet and innocent, you know, like it really is. And so, it's not gross, but I understand why people might think it is,
You were
you know.
so much better person than me. I'm all like, I guess, I guess this is a terrible
Well,
like
I
I
come
am. I'm
from a
like,
very conservative family, and so obviously they don't necessarily agree with what I'm doing, but they're like, "Okay, if that makes you happy," So,
okay,
you know?
I'm going to tell you my experience with littles.
Yeah,
I used to go to BDSM conferences and that, and I was always jealous of the littles. I'll tell you why, because the conferences I used to go to, when I would go to a BDSM conference, they would have a little area, and they always got to hang out with the pet players. So you have littles and pets eating cupcakes and coloring and having a good time,
yeah,
and the
that's where I
rest of us are
be.
just sitting there like, I wish I could just go color.
So why didn't you?
I don't
Didn't
know,
you just go
because
for a little
you don't want to
fun?
intrude on anybody's space, and I must admit I'm not a
I
little.
I think everyone has a little in them. I
I
mean,
I I
like,
do. In
yeah,
fact,
because
I'm
we
supposed to
remember
show you.
stuff from our childhood. It's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that thing, that comic book, and I want one because I had one back in the '90s or '80s or whatever," you know?
Well, it's so interesting too, and I wish I could upload it, and I don't think I can unless I convert things to PDF. But even into my 20s, I had a very young mentality. Psychologically speaking, they say that we often are kind of trapped in a space of when your trauma started. So my space was at a certain age.
Right.
And so even here I am in the military, I'm deploying to war. Okay. Badass military girl, driving 5-ton trucks and that. And you go and look at my pictures, I'm like eating lollipops. I have like teddy bears and stuff. Because even at 22, 23, those things still brought me comfort. Those things
Right,
made me feel good. And
right.
matter of fact, I'm about to scream for daddy here in a second. So I'm going to meet you so that I don't blow y'all's ear off, but I want him to grab a picture for me so I can. So give me 1 second while I mute. Okay, sorry. I was yelling for, he's in the other room, and I was yelling for him to bring me a picture that's on a shelf. If I didn't think I would blow your eardrums, I would just leave it off so you can hear how hilarious this is of me describing. I'm like, the picture with the teddy bear. He's like, the cat. I'm like, no, the teddy bear. He's like, I only see the cat or whatever. The cat. I'm like, the teddy bear.
Well, I've still got my Furby. Well,
Oh,
actually, my boyfriend got this for me
oh, I love your fur. Thank you, Daddy.
because I had one of these when I was a kid and I loved it.
Oh, thank you, hon. So this was me. How old was I in this picture? Like 23, Warren?
Look how cute you are. I love that.
Oh, thank you. It's hard to without the glare, but yeah.
That is so cute.
That was me, guys, at 23. And I would have totally kicked your ass too. Don't think that just because I had that little teddy bear and I looked so sweet and cute that I wasn't still a badass military girl. But that was me. I still had that young personality. Like I wore pigtails. My husband, he'll tell you.
Yeah, and a lot of my characters have like really like badass careers, and they're like really badass women, but they like want to be little at home.
Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Well, and I have other ones too through the years, and I wish I could, guys. If you ever see me later, hit me up. I might have to post it. One time, no lie, and this goes to kind of show you about when we talk about trauma and how somebody might be in a certain space in their mental illness. So, true story, hand on the Bible. You can ask my husband; he'll tell you. One time I was in a very bad mental space. As you guys see, I have a tattoo that represents, my struggle with, different parts of my mental health. And so I went to Walgreens and I was in an aisle, and it was, I think, right after Valentine's Day. And there was like this thing of stuffed animals that was on like clearance, and they're like $3, $5, whatever. And I actually got frozen in that aisle. Like I couldn't leave the aisle because I didn't want to leave the stuffed animals. And I had to call my husband to come. He drove to Walgreens, bought every stuffed animal that was on that shelf. And I have a picture of them all on a table. And there was, and I'm gonna post
so
it.
Sweet.
And it was probably around 2012-ish time frame, maybe 2013. But and again, a lot of this is probably related to things like trauma and stuff, and where you get, frozen kind of in a place. Right. And that's where I was just so distraught for what might seem like a needless reason to be distraught, but that mental illness isn't always reasonable, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like in like tears about it. And he bought every one of them, and because I had so many of them, I ended up giving them out over time to like my godchildren and stuff, because there was just so many of them. Like and it was like I love you, you know what I mean? And I already had enough, so I just didn't want to leave them. I was worried because sometimes exactly, it's never reasonable, or it wouldn't be an illness, exactly. And so and my poor husband, he drove all the way to where I was at to go get me out of there. He's like, "Are you gonna be okay?" He's like, "I'm gonna get them all for you, and that way you could go home." And and he was so understanding. So when we talk about when people say about Warren or my husband, and a lot of times you'll hear very formal titles, and that's partly because of our power dynamic, but you'll hear me call him husband, or you'll hear me call him daddy, or you'll hear sometimes I use booby if I'm in mixed company, because I know it doesn't always make people comfortable, but I've been calling him that for 20 years. And that is not because I associate him with my father, God rest his soul, who departed. But because that is the kind of safety and acceptance and unconditional love that he gives me,
Yeah.
that goes beyond just lovers, because it's more than, we're more than just lovers. We are best friends. He is my everything, mentally, physically, spiritually, he's like my priest, my, father figure. He's my lover, he's my best friend. He is so much more. And short of calling him a god, that is probably the most important, next highest honor I could give him, you know
Right. Yeah.
as far as an honorific goes, because he's more than all these things. He's the head of my household. He takes care of me. He bathes me. As many of you guys know, I am disabled from multiple sclerosis. Sometimes I cannot stand or walk or whatever, and he takes care of everything. He will wash my hair, shave my legs. He will do all these things that, I hate to say it, that there's a lot of people who have boyfriends who won't do this stuff, or girlfriends that won't do this stuff, or because lovers only gets you so far, guys. Relationships have to be multifaceted. It can't just be about the sex. It's got to be more. And he is able to be my anchor. See, because of especially with my mental illness, and that I'm often flighty. The MS has made me very forgetful, and he is stability.
Yeah.
He is everything to me. Like I said, I love my deity more than him, because that's obligated for me. But other than that, there is nobody more important in my life than my husband, who is, like I said, my head of my household, and he's my everything. And it means the world to me, because I'm not the person I was when we got married, because when we got married, I was that strong kind of, here I am now at 40 something. I'm losing my memory. I'm losing my ability to do things, to think straight. I can't do my own bills. He has to take care of everything. He takes care of my bills. He takes care of, everything. He's got to do it. And he does it without even, I sometimes ask, I'm like, am I a burden? He's like, oh my God, no. He's like, I love you so much. And it's this unconditional love that, yeah. So, if people think and I've had people comment when I've slipped up and called him daddy in front of someone. I did have that friend who was like, ew, that's gross.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's why it's a level of, now Ryan Osborne, author Ryan Osborne, is in the room. Ryan, if you want me to send you a link, if you want to add in on this, I know that you write LGBTQ versions of these kind of relationships, and of course your input is always welcomed. And if you want, I will send you a link. It's up to you if you want to come on or not, but I do know that you also write this. And if not, you have an interview coming up, I think, on Saturday. And okay, we got someone who's going to give us an LGBTQ version take. And so let me go ahead and grab a invite link. I'm going to send this, Ryan, to your messenger, and you just kind of fill in and just hit when you want to come on, and kind of hear your perspective on the genre and how you think it is. And do you find the same difficulties as Stella does, or do you find that writing from the male perspective, that people are sorry, Ryan, I'm trying to talk, and this is what I there you are, Ryan, come on, there we go. If writing from the male perspective, or an LGBTQ perspective, or even a polyamory perspective, if you have the same, how should I say, discriminations that Stella has, not only just in the genre, but in life in general. So, okay, so I have sent a link to Ryan Osborne, so we'll see if he's able to get on with that. I find it fascinating. I love it. I feel like I'm more free than I've ever been just talking about it, because I'm not gonna lie, there's not a lot of people you can talk to about it, because most people don't, either they're not in the lifestyle, or they're just kind of like, okay, that's not I'm not a little, but I do have a daddy, if you will, and I just kind of wish that more people would give it a chance, even if you learn about it.
For sure.
So while we wait for Ryan to figure out if he can find his way on here, so tell us some more about like what's going on. And I'm going to try to pour this tea that I never even got to pour. Here is
mine is good. I've got some green tea going.
This one is, I kind of wish I had saved it now, because it's like a fruit tea. And the person, I get it at of all things, because I know many of you know that I'm actually a Christian in that, but I love going to metaphysical shops and looking at it and getting like teas and crystals and stuff like that. And this is one of the things that I got, and it was called like, oh my gosh, what is it called? Hold on, it'll come to me. This is the best, I tell you what. Hold on, let me yell at my husband again and see if he can tell me the name of this. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so you just have to put your. I'm going to add you into the stream, and I am going to move this into. But I want to do the person who's talking. Hey, can you hear us?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a little fuzzy, but we can hear you. Sorry, I'm jumping around trying to find the one that will do it. Oh, no. Wait, okay. There we go. Okay.
We can see you.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe it will shift itself, I'm hoping. All right, Ryan, can you talk?
I think so.
Okay, yes, we can hear you. What are you doing? Tell the people who you are.
Well, my name is Ryan T. Osborne. Under the pen name David Camley, I write this really amazing series called Bear Family, which is about an LGBT polyamorous group of 6 men who are really close friends and occasionally sleep with one another. Yes. And each book in the series is about how each one of them finds their primary.
Yes. Now, I know that you do have a daddy dominant in your story.
2 of them.
Yeah. 2. So, what? Well, first off, just out of curiosity, you've heard kind of where Stella's coming from. We talked about what happened to her on Draft to Digital and kind of the discrimination. Do you find that you get that same discrimination in the genre as she's getting? Or is it different in the LGBTQ world? Or
actually, I have gotten that discrimination from Draft to Digital. I have also since found out why. Draft to Digital is run by evangelical Christians.
Oh.
So they have a tendency to shy away from the terms daddy or papa used during love scenes. Not too long ago, I was in the Passionate Ink anthology Falling Hard in 2021. And I released a short story in that anthology called Claiming Papa. And in that short story, there was a love scene where my love interest refers to my main character, and he's like, "I'm claiming my papa." And because of that one line, the whole short story was banned off of Draft to Digital. And when I got my rights back, I tried to post it up there, and they said, no, you can't do this. And because we do not do pseudo incest. So what I wound up having to do is I wound up having to go directly to Kobo, directly to Barnes & Noble, directly to Amazon, directly to Apple Books, which Apple Books is a nightmare, by the way, and post the story up that way, which I'm completely at awe of this because of the fact that my Bear Family series, which the whole book is basically daddy this, daddy that, and my short story Gold along with me, my two main characters are named Papa and Daddy, you know. So I don't know why they're picking on this one particular story and not all of them. But
because
I have
they
a
saw
feeling
it. They saw it because, Pollinators, for example, has the whole first story after the intro has daddy this, daddy that, they're wasps, but it says it. And I think it's just that they haven't caught it yet. Damn.
Well, we just told them.
I know, right? I'm like, somebody just go ahead and ban me. Ban me now.
Yeah, that's about the only thing that I've really faced. It wasn't necessarily the LGBT theme or the polyamory theme, but I think it was just the daddy-dom dynamic that I ran into the most problem with Draft to Digital.
Yeah, they have a big problem with that word. And I wrote them this long explanation, explaining the dynamic, explaining what it meant. And I was like, this has very little to do with sex. It's like not what you think, I mean, of course, sex is a part of the relationship because that's a part of relationships, right? But like I wrote them this long, impassioned speech, and they were like, yeah, we know what it is, but it's still not allowed.
Wow. And I'm guessing that your story is about a straight couple?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. I wanted to do a daddy anthology, and Tia's in it. Or Tia was in my anthology, but we had to change it from daddy because Draft to Digital wouldn't let us use that word. And then it turned out that I was banned from even posting on Amazon because I had a book in draft that I didn't even publish that said the word daddy on it. So therefore so it turned out like not even useful to use their service.
Yeah, I had to go directly with claiming Papa because of that one line that says I'm claiming my Papa during the love scene. That was it. That was the only reason. I tried to do the same thing. I sent a 3-page letter explaining this is a dynamic, they're falling into a dynamic. Roger is a daddy dom. Angel is his sub. There is no connection between the two biologically, and I don't know. I can't remember because it's been a long time since I've actually read Mason's story, but I think in like the first chapter or two, I explained the polyamory in the whole entire series, which is why I think that book didn't get banned. But that's just my suspicion, so I don't know for sure.
Well, goodness, hon.
I don't know. I mean, I threatened them. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to the Attorney General and file a complaint against the company. That's what I told them, but I didn't file it.
What
Are
they
you
have to
doing
say
that
about
based on discrimination? Or?
Yeah, based on discrimination. Yep. That was my stance on it because there's really no other reason to ban our books other than being discriminatory. Because if you really understand what it's about and you really understand, because they say, oh yeah, we understand what it is. We know what it is. That's what they told me. It's like, well, if you really know and understand what it is, then you wouldn't be banning it.
Agreed. But like I said, Draft to Digital specifically is run and ruled by evangelical Christians, so that might have something to do with it as well.
Oh, I'm sure. But
But
Do you find also, I mean, like I said, it's never polite, so I'm not, to ask about these things. But in life, do you feel people discriminate you based on knowing that you write this stuff?
me personally, not really, because a lot of people that know that I write this stuff also know that I'm in this kind of a relationship. That I have a bear family where there are 6 or 7 guys in the group. I have my primary, who is absolutely adorable and I love him to pieces. But
So
his
cute.
brother is also in the family as well as his brother's fiance, and then we've got 4 subs between us. So I guess there's 8 of us. Now that I think about it, it gets hard to keep track of sometimes.
Well, and what drew you, not only into the lifestyle, but also to writing it?
Have you ever heard the old expression, write what you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Write what you know. So I've been playing around with the idea of writing a polyamorous romance for a long time, and I was sitting bored one day and I thought, you know what? What would happen if 2 daddy doms actually got together? And that's basically how Bear Family began. Because as you know, Tia, I think you've read Mason's story, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes. Both the main character and the love interest are both daddy doms. So just to let you know, Stella, what happens is their cubs decide to plot and plan and get these 2 daddy doms hooked up together.
Oh.
And Mason's story is kind of like the what happens when you hook up your daddy dom with someone. So it's a lighthearted comedy, or I tried to keep it lighthearted, but
I love that.
Well,
yeah.
so if we ever did a DDLG anthology set in Pollenverse, would you like to write in it?
Well, I wouldn't do DDLG. I'd do DDLB, but I probably wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually definitely want that representation on my planet. So I would love to have stuff like that in my planet.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. So
for those of you who might be coming on, as you know, we have a new universe, kind of, everybody's always big on Omegaverse, but we have started the Pollenverse. Which is a little bit more closer knit community of authors where with a sci-fi nature. We're trying for sentient plants, insects, humans, this kind of sci-fi thing, and as an author you can come on and you can make your own planet, or if there's someone has a planet that's open to other authors, you can write on someone else's planet following their planetary rules. So I have a planet and Stella has a planet, and there's a third planet that's currently not opened that belongs to Selena Michaels, and she has not opened that planet. So sorry, I know you guys see it on the map, but it is not open at this time. But if you want to write daddy doms and you're like, Stella Shelton's planet sounds like where I want to be, contact her. If you're like, I want to write daddy dom, but not necessarily in a nicer, because her planet's a little bit nicer and more.
Planet is nice. It's sweet. Cute.
Mine's kind of ruthless.
Yeah, mine's about more like relationships and
or you can write on Planet Delights, and that one's kind of ruthless. The very ruthless.
Yeah. But I like sweet stuff, I like
if you want
that's the way I am. I like
to Planet Delights.
I'm particularly fond of sweet and spicy, so I think your planet would be just fine for me.
Yeah, you would hate my planet, I think, Ryan, because I know Consent as a huge thing. Obviously, as a dominant, of course, it's very important to you. But I think you would actually love Stella's Planet.
You gotta read Dr. Daddy's Garden Hoe.
I love that title. I think it's great. I'm
glad.
I kind of like the I kind of like the pun of the title too.
It was fun. It was just an easy short that I wrote, but it was fun.
Well, so Ryan, in the Pollenverse, we have asked, it's not required, but we have asked that every author at least write a quick short story introducing the verse to their readers by having them actually integrate into it. So when you read Pollinators, for example, my character Tia is in there. Selena's her own character, Whitey Lamar's her own character, and Danny Carr is her own character. And we are authors who were kidnapped and trafficked by Whitey's PA because we didn't pay her, and ended up on this planet. And then the love stories unfold from there. So Stella has introduced hers in a short story. She ends up on her planet hold on.
Pyrus.
Planet of Pyrus. And it's such a nice planet in comparison to the brutality of the lights, which is Mafia ran, which is why it's brutal. It's just Mafia ran on ours. But also there's always welcome authors. Join the Pollenverse. There's a group, it's called the Pollenverse. Just put it in there, join, and get to enjoy all the fun of all the fun of sentient plants and dominant insects and tree people and bioengineered different creatures and everything like this. So I'll see. I don't have a name on here, so I don't know who wrote this, but thank you so much. Hey, Pollenverse is the best. Appreciated. I'm so glad. It was such a fun book to write. And I will say this, when you write yourself as an author, I think it's kind of fun. Like just
it is fun.
Being your own character. I'm like,
I know, but I feel like people were judging me after they read it because they were like, you just left your sleeping husband on the bed and for alien sex.
Better than mine. I killed mine off.
Not real. I didn't really do that.
Jackie! Oh my God! Jackie from Pollenverse. Jackie, the PA?
Jackie,
the PA.
Oh my gosh,
is that you? Is that you? I don't know. I can't see your last name, so I don't know what Jackie it is. It could be a different Jackie. Oh, it is. Okay, so for those of you who read Pollinators, as you remember, we were trafficked by a PA, Jackie No Name. We didn't give her last name because she is a PA and we don't want to, make her out to be that way. But she's a real person. Book's dedicated to her because here she is in our I feel honored to have the person that like our whole book is set on because and if you do read Pollinators, and there's a bonus last chapter in Pollinators, I hope you guys will read it because it's told from the POV of Jackie. She did not write her own POV. Actually, Danny Carr mostly wrote it. I kind of layered a little, but what we know of Jackie and how we think she would have responded to the whole situation of having her spaceship, stolen and stuff. I love you too, Jackie. Thank you so much for allowing us to use your persona. A member of the Pollenverse, and we're very appreciative of that. So, yep, Jackie No Name in the comments for all you Pollinator fans. She's there, and just as beautiful as we describe her in the book, she's incredibly, actually more beautiful in real life than even we took the time to describe. So definitely check out Jackie. And I don't know, Jackie, are you taking new clients? If you need a PA and She's always happy with people to work. She's like, she's totally like so she's a PA as well. PA is Whitey Lamar's PA. Amazing PA, huge fan. And also Stella, she is a huge fan of my Waiting to Be Claimed story. She is, if it weren't for her, she's like, you have to keep, you gotta, she wants me to finish Otis's story in the end of,
Yeah.
So Ryan, get this. I wrote for the anthology I'm in with Stella. I wrote a primal scene, a CNC consensual non-consent primal scene, BDSM scene, and as a couple people loved it, and Jackie No Name is one of the people who loved that story.
It was good.
Oh, thank you. Consensual non-consent.
A little funny, and
I'm sorry.
It was kind of exciting because like you didn't know where she was going or like what she.
Hence the world of primal play, right?
Yeah, and like yeah, and I'd never read anything like that.
Really?
No, not. No, I haven't. No.
Well, that just like, there must be. Yeah. There must be like not enough primal play books out there. There you go.
I probably just haven't read
Ryan.
Them. I do read not as much as I should. I have a lot of writing to do, so I don't have as much time.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, but I try to read as much as I can. So
I'm gonna stalk these two now.
But I did like that.
I'm gonna start these two. I love writing BDSM. What do you think, Ryan? You like writing BDSM? Like,
yeah.
But do you find it complicated, or are you like, I'm ready to write this? This is just,
Well, the nice thing is that I have people to practice with.
Well, yeah.
So, I really do enjoy writing BDSM. In fact, one of the underlying factors in my Bear Family series is BDSM. So it's kind of like my way of experimenting without actually doing it in real life.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever done primal play? That's like, where it can take various forms. Some it's chasing someone. Sometimes it's like rough, like if you have like a cub or a pup, might be rough play. It's very,
Yes, there are some scenes in Bear Family that do kind of get a little rough.
Yes.
But I don't know if I would consider it primal play though.
Mm-hmm. To me, it's just that kind of instinctual type play that happens, whether you're the runner, the chaser, the rolling around, the rougher play. Okay. Sorry, Michael. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I hope not, because we always love having you on here. So, but like I was saying, there's obviously, I guess maybe a, how do you say it? What's the MS? Hold on. How do you say it? There's like a gap in the market, maybe, if there's not enough primal play books out there for people who want to read consensual non-consent. Plenty of non-consent, I'm sure, primal play type thing, but consensual non-consent primal play is a whole different dynamic than, or it's a real dynamic versus the, kidnapping.
You see, now that I can handle, the consensual non-consent.
Yeah. And that's what was in that one. It was Stella's anthology. It was a consensual because of Draft to Digital's rule against non-consent. So I did a CNC, consensual non-consent primal scene. So she signs up for the primal play weekend. And she goes running through the woods, and she's a rabbit, and and the wolves are chasing her. She gets chased. and hence the
Very exciting.
I was going to say, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It is very exciting.
You'll have to send me a
thank
link.
you. I appreciate that. That must be Jackie. Oh, don't worry, Jackie. I got some cool scenes in mind to that you're gonna hopefully enjoy when I get the. When's our anthology coming back, Stella?
When is it coming back?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh, does it not come back at all? Oh, it might not. I didn't read the
I was
contract.
like, I think it's just running until March, and then
March. Okay, so it comes back in March. Okay, it comes back to the author in March.
Well, it comes back to the author in March.
Okay.
Yeah. I've actually taken it all out of draft to digital, and now it's just in Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. And I mean, we're doing better now that it's in Kindle Unlimited, but we just need to keep promoting it,
All right, so guys, tamed and claimed.
It's claimed and tamed.
Oh, Jesus, I knew it too. That's why I stopped. I'm like, I thought about it too. I'm like,
claimed and tamed.
Claimed and tamed.
10 tantalizing tales of power exchange.
Oh, send me the stuff, Tia, and I'll post it. Oh, thank you, Jackie.
Yes, send me a link. I would love to read this.
Yeah, I shoot. You know what? I was gonna say I'd send you a copy, but I don't have a copy of Claimed and Tamed. Do you have Amazon?
I have a copy of it. I think I should. I'm the one that put it up.
Yeah, I hope you had a copy.
Yeah, we better hope I have a copy of it.
Yeah, well, if not, Ryan, I'll buy you one. And
or you don't have to do that.
I don't mind. I love you. I will buy you anything that I can afford.
I will get it.
I can't afford much, but I'll buy you a book.
I'll get it.
My to be our list is so long right now. I'm surprised I'm managing to get through it.
Really? I have way behind too.
Yeah, I've got like 3 books ahead of the one you sent me. God only knows how long ago. I haven't even gotten to it yet.
Don't worry about my stuff, because mine's male, female anyway, so it's not going to be as exciting to you as if,
Oh, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I love romantic suspense thrillers, no matter what the pairing.
Oh, really? There you go. I used to read a lot of male or LGBTQ books through the aughts and the teens. I swear some of the best ones were during that frame. I just don't see them as much anymore. We used to have whole publishing houses dedicated to LGBTQ books. Like, you could go to a publishing house, like an online house, and they would have hundreds of wonderful books you could read. And now it's all these publishing houses have closed down after Amazon kind of tanked the industry. And so now you have to kind of search out indie authors for the same kind of thing. So,
or they screwed over their writers.
That could be it too. Yep.
There used to be a company that I absolutely adored. It was called Dream Spinner Press. And Dream Spinner Press only published gay romance.
Yes, I remember them very well, actually. I knew a lot of authors who published with them. I used to get their books too.
And I really liked them because it was kind of like Harlequin romance for gay men.
Yeah.
And I guess there's some issue or problem with them that they stopped paying their authors.
Oh, no. I didn't know that. Are they still around?
Yeah, they're still around.
Wow, I didn't even know they were still around. I used to order them, MLR Press as well.
Yeah,
was a big one.
And I used to another favorite. Samhain Publishing, SAMHAIN Publishing.
Yeah, I remember them. I actually knew the owner. Because in those days it was a smaller world. I used to go to conferences and you meet all the, and interact with them. And if you ever had other authors or whatever, your contracts, you would have to I remember MLR Press, and I used to go to the GRL conferences for Resplendence. So, we did have authors who wrote male books, and I miss, that's all I'm saying. I do miss those older style, I mean, but I was just telling Stella earlier, I also miss the BDSM from the, like, I think 2008 to 20, or 2006 to 2016. I miss that also, those BDSM novels, those representations of BDSM that were very much more accurate, because um that, I don't know if it's because they were vetted by publishers to make sure that it was accurate. Like, I'm not going to publish your BDSM if you're misrepresenting the lifestyle, or if it was just it's renaissance, I guess, of that time for those things. But I don't feel like all BDSM is the same anymore. I feel like it really is all over the place. Like, you'll get for every one book accurately portrays the lifestyle, the next book won't, so
Right.
all right, guys. Well,
From what I understand, there's a lot of. Oh.
Nope, go ahead.
No, that's all right.
No, because you broke up, so I didn't quite. That's why I was talking. I'm sorry. Please talk.
Oh, I was going to say, and from what I understand, there's a lot more dynamics now than there used to be.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look into that, because I remember the dynamics of that time frame, like going to conferences and that. But yeah, some of them have been kind of, But all right, guys. Well, it's 8:30, so I'm gonna get off. I've kept Stella on here for a whole hour and a half now.
It's okay.
Hi, Hazy.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you, Stella, for letting me video bomb your interview.
Oh, no, I love it. It was so nice to virtually meet you.
Well, we have
nice to meet you too.
We have an interview coming up with you, Ryan, on
Saturday at 7 my time, so that'd be 8 your time.
Saturday at 7. Just check and make sure it's actually in there, so I can make, because you sent me the stuff, so I can make the yeah, there it is, Saturday the 19th. All right, so I'll have an interview with Ryan. Then, guys, please check out Stella Shelton's work, not only in the Claimed and Tamed anthology that is currently on Kindle Unlimited, but also all her Daddy Dom, the sci-fi series. What's the sci-fi?
So I have the Alien Daddy sci-fi romance, so it's sci-fi age play romance, and then I have the 2 Office Daddies books. So we have Daddy's Little Subordinate and Daddy's Undercover Boss. Those are more contemporary romance. There's no sci-fi in those. And then, of course, we have My New Planet, and so we have Dr. Daddy's Garden Hoe, and Currently, I'm working on Rainbow Brat, which is in the Rainbow Town Garden on Planet Pyrus. And I will be putting that on Kindle Vella very soon. I've got the first 3 chapters written, so I'm going to release those very soon. And just remember, you can read those for free. So if you're not sure about Stella Shelton, just pop in and read the Vella and see if you like it or not.
I would love to do that. All right, so I'm going to end broadcast. Guys, stay on for a second. Even though I end broadcast, the room will still be open for us. I'm just going to end broadcast for those people who are watching, so that they can get to bed and stuff like that. And I know it is a work night. Everybody who watched us tonight, popped in and out and stuff, I am so appreciative of all of you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And for those of you who came on just to kind of learn about DDLG or DDLB with Ryan coming in, thank you so much for just joining us and not being judgmental in comments and stuff like that. I appreciate that very much. That was a lot like that. And again, Stella, thank you. Ryan, thank you so much. And I will see you all guys soon. I hope you guys could be definitely on Saturday for Ryan's interview. So I'm going to go ahead and end broadcast now. Love y'all.
Bye.